Thanks again for tuning back into the channel. In this week's video, we are going to be looking at creating that glow effect that you see in the movies and certain images, and that halation, that bloom that can be applied to many different styles of images. Now in this case it's been applied to a woodland fairy image, but you can use this for anything. You can use it for sunsets, sunrises, a slight glow in a woodland scene. It's entirely up to you how you use it. At the end of the video, I would also like to update you on the progress of the Art of Photoshop course. I've had quite a lot of emails in regards to this course, so thank you very much for sending them through. I'll update you on the progress of the course at the end of the video. Now, if you want to just jump straight away to the end just to hear how that is going along, please just do so. It's around about 10 minutes into the video. But without further ado, let's dive right into this week's tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn off the background layer, and then using the lasso tool and generative fill in the rest of the image. The great thing about the generative fill is it creates three options for you, and sometimes you like a piece of one option and then a part of another option. So what you can do is you can choose 2 or 3 of these and just copy up the layer and keep the parts of it that you want to keep via masks. So in this case I kept one of the generations and I blended it down into the original image, and then on the next layer I have kept a part of it. In this case it's for the wings, and I am going to fill that in, and then I'm just going to create another mask and blend in the area that I want to keep. To keep these areas, you simply paint with a white brush on top of the black mask and keep the areas that you need. In this case, I want to make the wing even larger, so I have to combine these 2 layers together, which is Command and E, and then using the quick selection tool, I'm going to draw in the areas of the wing. From here, once I have that selected, I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste, and Paste Special. And that means it will drop exactly onto where I've copied it from. From here, I'm going to use the warp tool to take it up to the size that I want it and into also the shape that I want it to finally become. The first method we're going to be using is basically Gaussian blur and high pass, and to do this what you have to do is copy your base layer, in this case the fairy layer, up twice. Once you've got 2 copies, turn off the top layer and go back into the copied layer, and then go into Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Now what you want to do here is you want to be able to see your image, so don't take it too far as much as that, but also have it quite out of focus as well. So for this one I'm going to sit around there. Once you are happy, you just click OK. The next thing you do is you go on to your top layer and you go into Filter, Other and High Pass. Now this is going to allow us to keep texture, and we don't want too much texture in this one. Click OK. Once you've done that, you need to change the high pass layer to an overlay blend in this case. And then I'm going to turn that layer back off, and I'm also going to turn on and find a blending mode for the Gaussian blur layer. Now soft light, overlay or screen in this case will probably be best for this one. Then just to turn on the fairy layer and draw back the opacity slightly just to balance everything out, and it's the same with the high pass layer as well. You can see the difference as we dial this in, and it's down to your own personal taste here. Plus this is a global edit. We're going to be using masks in both of these layers to create selective edits, more local. Going to add a hide all mask to the top layer, and then I'm going to group both of them, but that's just so that I can show you the difference at the end of the video. Now that they're grouped, if I turn them both, the group off, you'll be able to see the difference here already. And now it's time to go in and do the selective edits. So with the fairy high pass layer selected, I can then take a white brush and paint in the areas that I want it to affect. For example, the detail in the eyes, on the lips, in the hair and on the wings. I can now paint in this and it will just lift that texture of them back through, which will also help in the overall edit of the image. So now that we've completed that part of it, we now need to go back into the Gaussian blur layer, and in here again create a hide all mask, and then using a white brush paint in the areas that we want to reveal the soft bloom light to. And then doing this will allow you to balance out your image however you see best for it. And remember, you can always go back in and turn up the opacity of the layers or paint in more areas, remove other areas as well. And in this case, because I have it in a group, it allows me to flick it on and off just to see how much of a difference is actually been made. The second method I'm going to show you is the curves tool. Now, to do this, you have to combine all your layers into one, and then using one of the selection tools, draw an area that you want to create the bloom in. Once you have this, go into adjustments and curves and push it to the point that you are happiest with. Now, sometimes this can have quite a hard edge, so this is when you go in with the mask selected, you go into filter, blur and Gaussian blur, and you'll notice that you can then choose how much of an effect and how blurry it is it's going to create the image. From here, just adjust that to what you want. Now, this can be done in any shape at all. As you can see here, I'm just using the circular marquee tool to do this, and I'm just drawing over, and it's in the same image again, just drawing over, adding a new curves adjustment layer, and again going through the process of adjusting it to the point that you want, and then going into filter, blur and Gaussian blur and adjusting that once again to the position that you want, to the effect that you want the bloom to appear. Now, the good thing about using this method is the fact that perhaps you want to adjust what you've just selected. You can go back in, and if you click in between the small link in between the mask and the curves, you can then go back in to your mask and you can adjust the size of that mask to give it more effect, to take it down. This is another method that you can use, and it can be any selection tool that you want that you can use to create this. So you can see the final effect here, and that's simply combining all your layers into one and using curves, Gaussian blur, and that's you. The method that you're about to see is by far the easiest and the most versatile, and this is not an advert for it, but this is a plugin named Oniric 2. Now, this is absolutely phenomenal to use. I'm not going to get into the details of it at all here. I'm just going to show you that it is available. I'll put a link to it below, but this is so versatile. Now, the other two methods that I've shown you allow you to control local bloom and create an entire bloom over the image. This is more refined and allows you to change the exposure, the radius, the core, even change the hue saturation of it. So if you're interested in this type of editing, please check it out. I'll put a link directly below, and later on I'll do an entire video with Oniric just to let you see how good it really is. From here, it's just a case of going in and finishing off the image to your own specifications, depending on whatever you use, whether it's camera raw, different effects, or whatever. It's just to get the image down to where you want it to be and where you are happiest with it. Hopefully you get something from that, and hopefully out of the three different methods, there's one that you favour and perhaps one that you're going to check out. In my case, it's Oniric. I absolutely love using Oniric. It's perfection to use. It's just absolutely perfect to use, but I'll put a link to that below, as I have mentioned. Thank you to everyone who has emailed in regards to the Art of Photoshop course. As you can tell, there is a slight delay with the course, and that is simply to do with outside factors like work. I'd love to be able to do this full time, but I can't. It doesn't pay enough. So I need to keep a roof over my head and feed my girls, everything like that. So there's been a few factors that have stopped me or hindered me from continuing with the course, including a couple of silly accidents which left me kind of incapacitated for a wee while, and I couldn't remain in the static position at the computer for a long time, for long periods of time. So this is why the course has been held back slightly. I don't want to say today when the course will be released, and that's simply because I'm nearly at the 8-hour mark. I mean, I'm nearly there. I've still the PDF to finish, but I'm nearly there at the 8-hour mark, and I can see it actually going on further than the 8-hour mark. But we'll see how it is when it comes to the final edit. You're also probably wondering how much the course will retail for when released. The entire course will retail for $47, and that's where you're getting all the assets. And at the moment, as I say, 8 hours of tutorials, plus the PDF as well. So hopefully you find that value for money. And if you've purchased the last course and you've really enjoyed that, hopefully you'll get even more from this course. So that's just a small update on how that is going. So keep a look out on the website for the actual release date of the course, and also I'll put it here on YouTube as well. I'll dedicate one of the videos to the course so that you know exactly what you are purchasing if you're deciding to purchase it. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.